Um, 13? I think I did a bad thing.
What did you do?
Well, I was rummaging in this old trunk where we found that junk last week and found some weird green mold. And now it's kinda spreading everywhere in the lab.
Well, that can't be good. This room doesn't even have an exit. Hey, intercom thing, get us out of here.
Don't worry about it, subjects. As luck would have it, today's movie features similar mold. You could use it as an instructional video to help you with your situation.
Okay, throw it in the movie reader so we can get rid of it. What's it called anyway?
This horror sci-fi was directed by Tom Kennedy in 1982 and is called Time Walker.
We start the movie in King's Tooth Tomb, where an earthquake leads to the discovery of a secret chamber. They find a sarcophagus inside with just the cheapest booby traps. They bring the ancient giant-sized board of operation to the University of I Don't Care, where they discover strange elements of the mummy inside. Like how it's a foreigner that had a rush mummification job and some strange green powder. Oh no, he got some on his arm! Lucky for him, the movie kind of forgets about this and nothing happens. We then meet sleazy guy Sharp. As you will soon see, he's pretty much the reason for all the bad stuff that happens in this movie. He starts off by screwing up a simple procedure of taking an x-ray of the mummy by bombarding it with enough radiation to make a superhero. And when he discovers a secret drawer thanks to the x-rays he didn't screw up, he steals the ancient mummy's crystal marbles. What a douche. While delivering the new x-ray to hide the existence of the crystals he just stole, he has to hide from Parker and slips the original x-ray behind a machine in a closet. Why did he have to hide from Parker in the first place? And why didn't he just destroy the original? The answer is plot convenience. After talking to another professor, our main character, Doug, I wish. No, not that Doug. Professor Doug. He sends his girlfriend Susie with a sample of the mold to pathology so they can study it, while he continues to work on the parchment. Before she goes, he shows her a strange symbol that he found that kind of looks like something I would draw while bored in class.
The mummy wakes up and seems to have a radioactive nipple. After examining the mummy's x-rays, the professor discovers that the coffin has a secret compartment which is filled with a mysterious mold. Afterwards, Peter Sharp, the asshole who stole the marbles to begin with, tries to sell them at the nearest pawn shop, but he's unable to sell them because they are worthless.
They're 3,000 years old. They're ancient, man.
Because in Peter's mind, stones are like wine. They get pricier with age. What a dumbass.
Meanwhile, back at the university, they send the mold off to be analyzed, and they find out too late that it's dangerous when the dumbass student decides to poke at it. Don't touch it. Don't touch that mold. Don't you touch that mold, mister. Don't you... Ah, god damn it. He touched it. That's what you get for being a dumbass. We find out that the mummy has gone missing, and the asshole dean thinks that a fraternity stole it because...
Hey, Pete, I was a frat man. I know what it's like. Slow night, nothing to do, have a couple of beers, steal a mummy.
Oh yes, that reminds me of my favorite fraternity movie, My Weekend with King Tut. He then gives the students 24 hours to confess before shutting down every fraternity to search them for the mummy. A threat that doesn't go anywhere and is never referenced again in the movie. The janitor then disappears. Or could he have been a student? Given the casting choices, I mean. It took me so long to realize that certain characters were actually students and not adults like the professor.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
But never mind that poor sap. Because the kid who touched the mold needs to get his arm amputated because the mold is slowly taking over his body. Peter Sharp then distributes the crystal marbles to his closest friends so they can make jewelry for their girlfriends. One of the women who is gifted such a crystal is someone who looks way too old to be a babysitter. The mummy tracks her down and grabs the first crystal from her in a dramatic, slow motion scene. Her boyfriend gets questioned.
Come on, let's hear it now. Don't sit there. Talk.
Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
Calm down now. Get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you want it on the phone.
That's enough, Willoughby.
And he seems quite frazzled for someone who, as far as the audience knows, hasn't even seen the mummy. I guess it was probably in one of those deleted scenes along with the mummy dog from the end credits. The mummy seems to be planning something. But what? Seriously, it's so hard to see what's going on in certain shots that we can't really tell what the mummy is doing half the time.
We get back to Doug that managed to decipher that the mummy was a stranger that was infected with the mold, and the Egyptians just started touching him for some reason. After a few deaths, they decide to seal him alive in King's tomb. So basically we just learned that the mummy had the mold and that the mold is dangerous, which we already knew. Good job, Doug. After a few tests, the pathology professor discovers that the radiation is the thing that activated the mold. But his discovery is too late, because the hospital tries to get rid of the girl's mold problem with a laser, and ends up killing her. Would that be considered a kill for the monster, or for the heroes? Well, never mind that. Let's jump to this awkward scene where this guy asks Susie about her affair with the professor of the university, and then imposes his jewelry on her so she may think of him. Where did he learn his seducing techniques? Behind a Cracker Jack cereal box? The story continues with this useless scene. Why am I talking about it? Well, let me show you why.
Nothing but a damn door.
Oh my god. This is the funniest jump scare I've ever seen. It could have easily used any overused cliche of the cat jumping out, or them shooting at nothing, or jumping at seeing their own reflection in a mirror. But no, they just see a bunch of rats and run like cowards. Oh my god. Parker saves his girlfriend from sleazy guy Peter, dressed as a mummy, and then we get his first line of dialogue 48 minutes into the movie.
Did he hurt you?
Wow. It's kind of a shame because I thought the movie was doing something cool with this character by making him an important silent character. But I guess like a lot of things in this movie, it was probably lost in the mail.
Due to recent events, one of the university's frat houses decides to host a mummy-themed party with a true banger of a song that seems impossible to find. If you know this song, then please tell me. I would love to have a full version of the song. The mummy retrieves another of its stones and destroys one of the frat boys in slow motion.
flawless victory.
The police then suspect Parker of being the one who stole the mummy, just because he walked out of a seemingly public building that had some of the mold residue on it. This goes, as you would expect, nowhere. A group of people from the university meet to discuss the recent events, and since they can't explain it, they come to the conclusion that it must be aliens.
I think this guy has been watching a little too much History Channel.
They discover that the crystals can project the same circuit plan as the parchment found in the tomb, and that it may be part of a radio of some kind. The professor's girlfriend is sent off to look up information at the library, and a chase scene between her and the mummy ensues. A poorly filmed one at that, because even though she keeps looking behind her, like something's chasing her, we can see in this scene that there isn't even anything behind her, and that she's just running away from nothing. Fun fact, the reason why the elevator stopped moving is because this kind of elevator stops as a safety measure when the doors on any floor is open. Now, if only this chase scene was as interesting as that fact.
After getting chased after everywhere at school, she realizes that the mummy is after the crystal marbles, but fails to get it off before she falls off the roof. But she's okay. She explains this to Doug and Parker, and with a bit of plot convenience, discovers there are 5 crystals and that Peter Sharp is involved in all of this. The mummy tries to get the attention of the probably sleeping audience with a horror classic, a naked girl in a shower scene. That doesn't even lead to a death or nudity. Well, at least the mummy got another crystal, and this movie can finally end. The asshole that's been following the dean since the beginning thinks himself as a modern Sherlock Holmes and tries to pin the mummy theft on the professor, with this incredibly horrible line delivery.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you've been getting away with murder. Well, the game is over. And as soon as I call Lieutenant Plummer, you'll be on your way to jail and I'll have what I deserve.
The mummy walks in and completes his little ancient puzzle. This reveals he was an alien the whole time! Activating the marbles healed him from the mold and is about to make him disappear, but not before the security chief tries to shoot it, and misses, and shoots Doug instead. And that's why you don't usually give guns to security guards. Doug disappears with the alien and leaves behind one of the crystals. The asshole tries to get it, but gets burned by the mold that was left on it. To be continued. Yeah, sure movie.
That sure was a movie.
Oh my god, it was so boring.
I kinda zoned out a few times. I hope I didn't miss anything interesting.
I zoned out so much that I didn't realize they were saying mole all along. That I thought it was moss.
Oh, God. If any movie deserves a remake, this one definitely deserves a remake.
I think if you take out all the filler scenes, like all the scenes where we see that green screen and the mummy that we barely see at some scenes, and just like them turning round and round trying to find the same things all over again, I think we would have like a movie of 30 minutes.
Oh my god, yes, absolutely. And like, is it just me, or was the guy like having either nightmares or visions about the mummy, and they never explored that or did anything with it? So it was just like,
they didn't answer anything. Actually, they just they have so many questions that we never got answered, and from the movie we can just speculate about the answers, but we never have the movie explain anything to us.
and what the hell was with that ending?
To be continued. Yeah, right. Well, as I was watching it, I was thinking about how, like our last movie, Captain Kronos, that the vampire had like 8 kills, and that one had like barely 3, I think. But then I remembered Frankenstein Island. I was like, oh yeah, he did have a lot more kills than at least the blind Frankenstein monster from that movie.
Yeah. But at least it had one good song.
Yep. And what's with the title anyway? Time Walker.
It makes no sense.
Oh my god.
Enough of your complaining. This is not the place for your opinion. And we don't care. Now please tell us your pitch for this movie.
Fine. Okay, Subject 13. Let's start off with the cast.
For the casting of the remake, I'm thinking of a more age-appropriate cast for the students. Something like the cast of the Scream series or Dear White People. As for the main professor, it would be someone like Giancarlo Esposito or a Harrison Ford type.
Like in the original, the movie would start off in the 80s, when stealing ancient things were still considered cool and okay, with the archaeology professor at the university discovering the sarcophagus. When they discover the sarcophagus, the flashlight flickers, revealing a clue of what's to come. They bring the sarcophagus to the university, where upon opening it, they discover some green powder inside the sarcophagus. One of the students gets a sample but accidentally gets some on him, just like in the original. They try to x-ray the mummy, but the machine seems to be experiencing technical difficulties. Each time it starts powering up, it can't reach the power level necessary to take the x-ray around the mummy. Meanwhile, the student who got some of the green powder on them goes to wash up in the bathroom. The lights flicker and he experiences a jolt of pain, as the powder has turned into a fungus that seems to be eating his arm. The student is rushed to the school's infirmary, and the teaching staff discovers that the green powder has become mold and it is dangerous. They quarantine the room where the sarcophagus is for safety reasons. One of the students tries to develop the x-rays, but most are trashed, except one. He can see blotches and decides to break into the sarcophagus room. He finds a secret compartment and discovers some jewels and a strange triangular crystal. Being a greedy son of a bitch, he steals the jewels. This person then gives away the jewels, now converted into jewelry, to the cute girls and boys on campus they want to get with.
While that's going on, the first student who was infected with the mold has been doing worse and worse. They need to amputate his arm in order to save his life, but while in the surgery, the host dies and the mold takes over. The zombified person then starts going on a killing spree. Having finished translating the scroll found in the tomb, the professor discovers just how the mold killed many Egyptians before being sealed away with patient zero. He rushes out in order to share this news and crashes into one of the students with a jewel. It falls to the ground and the impact projects a message. The message leads them to realize that the mummy is a time traveler who was sent back in time to stop the mold from destroying civilization. But the time traveler discovers he was infected by the mold, so he did a quick course correction in order to bring the mold to the ancient past where it would die out because it feeds on electricity. Armed with this information, they try to retrieve the other crystals in the hopes that one of them holds the message on how to defeat the infection. And naturally, the final crystal holds the final piece to the puzzle in destroying the mold. The gang finds the last jewel and learns that the triangular crystal is the time machine and that they need to send the mother mold, located inside the mummy, back in time to dinosaur times so that it gets taken out by the meteor. They retrieve the time machine and successfully send the mummy back in time. As soon as it's gone, all the mold-infected zombies drop dead. Many people die, but the future is saved.
Processing. Beep, beep, beep. Thank you for your pitch. I will go and log this with the others while you deal with your little mold problem.
Okay. Now we just need to follow how the movie dealt with their mold problem and
But M4X, the movie never revealed anything about defeating the mold. It even ended with a "to be continued." Hey, intercom thing, how are we supposed to deal with this thing?
Don't know, don't care. Bye!
well, shit.
Hello viewers, did you like this video? If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to it. If you want to see more videos like this, click on the links towards our other videos. Bye!